and welcome to Sixcess Stories. We are your hosts, Christina Gent
and Eric Ozarowski.
And this is where we get to talk to the members of the 6 Degrees community about life, leadership, and the power of meaningful connections. On this episode, we have Robert Allison, a family law attorney at Namish and Lewis.
Yeah, in this episode with Robert, we went down a little bit of a music rabbit hole and talked about the importance of music for him, and also about his perspective of not worrying about what anyone else has to say or thinks about his tastes in music. We get into his awareness and understanding of what is fulfilling to him, to be able to tap back into that when he needs to. We have a really interesting conversation around introvert, extrovert, and the power of using conscious language, and get into a little bit about the semantics of I am versus I am feeling. And yeah, it was just a really deep conversation with someone that I personally just admire so much of the way he moves in this world.
Yeah, I think we became really good friends with Robert, and so much of that ties into music. So, of course, that was a big part of this conversation. We've experienced live music together on multiple occasions. And so I just really appreciated that that was a big part of what we kind of talked to. But even just going deeper into the whys behind music and what it means to us was really great. So this was really fun. I always really enjoy our conversations with Robert anytime we get to hang out with him. So please enjoy this episode of Sixcess Stories.
Thank you.
Welcome to our
humble
home away from home.
You know, I walked in
and
they looked at me, the people up front. Podcast? They're like, oh, the podcast people are here? So you've now got the designation.
The podcast people.
The podcast people.
It's funny because there's been times that we've been here and most of the staff doesn't know us. But we get like, oh, corporate's here kind of vibes.
Yeah, I feel like they're...
Be on your best behavior.
Yeah, they're like, oh, shit.
It's like, we're not affiliated at all.
I was like,
there's
yeah,
nothing.
It's not.
Please don't worry about us.
We're not that serious, I promise. And then there's times too where it's so hard for me not to step in and do anything. But there'll be times where somebody's here, either they've just filled out an application or like something, right? They're here for an interview and they're looking for management. And I'm like, do I go get the manager? What do I do? Do I just like, yeah, just leave your resume? Like, oh, you know, it's just funny because
we don't work here.
I do not work here.
It's like the feeling when you're at a grocery store or a department store and you're wearing certain clothes and people walk up to you. Has that ever happened to you?
Oh, I
like,
literally...
do you know, can you help me? I don't work here.
I get it all the time. I mean, it most likely has to do with the fact that I'm literally on my computer a lot. Like, I'll go and I'll post up at a coffee shop. Well, coffee shops, that's a lot more normal. But if I'm at like a bar, I'm just hanging out and I'm on my computer, a lot of people will be like, hey, do you work here? I need blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I don't work here. I'm just working here right now.
My favorite one was like, you know, I have those concert earpieces,
yeah.
Reduce the decibels. I had this pair that had a string connected to them. So in case you take them out, you can hang on your shoulders. But they looked like earpieces that security would wear.
Ah, yep.
And I'm the type of person, I'm enjoying myself to the most degree, whatever, at concerts. But my arms might be crossed and I might be just head nodding.
Yeah.
I'm not dancing, I'm flailing, I'm watching the performance. And I've had a few times where people have been like, oh, it sucks to have to work during this, huh? And I look at them and I go, yeah.
Totally.
It just looks so serious.
Yeah, and it's happened more than once, you know, until I got the new ones without the strings.
Yeah.
On my way here, I was supposed to stop by the Amazon locker because I was going to bring you a gift. I picked up a pair of the noise-reducing headphones for you.
Oh, my God. That is so sweet.
Because we were on a text chat the other day. And she was like, I really wish I had those earpieces you actually was at a concert.
Where we were at the sound.
Yeah.
Oh, you went? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Oh, yeah. I took Eric.
I probably looked like what you're describing. I was just sitting there with my arms crossed and like, I had a good time. Like, I've had that multiple times. Did you even have fun? It's like, no, I did. I'm in my own little world sometimes with it.
I like to watch the performance.
I'm an observer.
Yeah.
Some people like to go and they don't care what they're looking at. They're dancing, they're having fun, whatever. Yeah. I like the performance aspect of most live entertainment. You know, I want to watch the show. I want to see what they did with the lights. I want to see how the guitarists walk around, or the performer moves or dances, or what they're doing to get the crowd involved.
Yeah. Oh, and they put on a show. It was really cool. So before, the people who opened for them, they were a lot more like hardcore, so there was a mosh pit going on, and so I was actually watching the crowd a lot, because from where we were standing, it was literally the most perfect place to be standing at the sound. There was a railing. I even had like a place where I could set my drink, and I was the first person like up on that railing, and it was elevated too, so I was like, this is exactly what I wanted.
That's the Christina signature spot at a venue.
Yeah.
You can find that spot with the railing where she could be against it.
Perfect. And we were like close to the stage. Like, it was awesome. But for the opener, I was watching that mosh pit because there were so many things happening and the crowd was going crazy, and it was very entertaining.
One of the shows I went to that I had the most fun attending, it was Korn and Allison Chains, but they had an opener. You know, the openers just get that little piece of stage because all the other equipment for the later shows. 3 guys, a drummer, a guitarist, and a lead singer. The most energy I've ever seen. And it was at the amphitheater, too. And the sunlight was still out. The audience was still coming in. It was one of the coolest things. Like, I was sitting there, like, you know, someone puts out so much energy, and it was a rock show, so they were, you know, putting out their crazy energy, like spinning the guitar over his head, and the guy jumping off the stage, and they were just wild, but it kind of gave you that little bit of anxiety almost. Not anxiety, but your adrenaline gets pumping, and I just couldn't stop thinking about that band for weeks after that.
Yeah. There's just certain people who put on such a great performance. Like, it's just such a good show. So... Well, let's start with
I think we're talking about
We're
talking about music and energy and what gets you going. So what's the song that gets you hyped up?
Oh, the song that gets me hyped up.
A hype up song.
You know, I'm the weirdest person too, because I don't need like a type of music in a certain setting. Like, people are at the gym, they want something. You know, I can listen to Adele at the gym and still push as much weight as possible. I can lay in bed and listen to screamy metal stuff and just zone out and get ready and wind down.
Sure.
Yeah, it depends on what I'm looking for. If I'm walking into an interview, maybe like an actual interview where I feel a little stressed about it, I might put on like a hip hop song or something with some boasting and like I'm the shit kind of energy, so I can walk in with that same confidence. You know, I don't know if I have a specific song. I feel like with Spotify and music nowadays, I listen to so much music. I don't remember song names anymore.
There's so much that exists.
You know, we used to buy like our $15 CD. We didn't even know if we liked the music, by the way, before we even heard it. We spent $15 on it, and we'd listen to the album, then decide if we like it or not.
Right. It's kind of crazy.
We'd know every song name. We'd know all the lyrics because we'd read the booklet. I just got my Spotify Wrapped, right? Everyone did. I had 100,000 minutes of music played this year. I couldn't tell you probably the vast majority of songs that made up that list. I can tell you like some main artists, you know, they give you your top 100, and I know the general stuff I was listening to for the most part, but it's just an energy. I don't know if it's a specific song. I have like probably my island, like Lost, Stranded on an Island, like 5 albums. Like I can probably narrow that down.
Sure.
But yeah, not a specific. You know, I was so energized to be here today too. This morning I was like, yeah, I'm going on the pod. It's gonna be fun. And then I had that lull midday, and then I even have a Diet Coke right here. And I was like, I need more caffeine. I'm starting to lose. I woke up at 4:45 this morning.
Oh wow!
You've been going,
which is not totally abnormal for me because I like to get in the gym early. But I was feeling it today. I was so stoked. And like an hour ago, and now I'm losing steam. I'm going to walk into this podcast and be like, yeah, guys. Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah, hey, guys. Just tired. Feeling pretty good right now, though.
If you were going into the interview, right, if you're coming on this, what would be the pump-up podcast?
You know, I like to say that I'd pick something obnoxious. My walkout baseball song here, let's do it like that.
That would work.
I want something that's kind of like obnoxious but hypes up the crowd.
Yeah.
It'd be something like Nookie from Limp Bizkit or Mike Jones or something, like Still Tippin'.
Sure.
You know, just something that's just like, that guy, what is he playing right now? Just to be fun with it, but also it gets the crowd hyped.
Sure.
All of them do.
Okay. You know? So you're considerate of the audience.
To an extent, you know.
But
to an extent, because I do want to kind of annoy them a little bit. So there's a part of me that would want to play like some crazy, heavy, breakdown, screamy metal stuff.
Yeah.
So the crowd's like scratching their heads and worried about their kids or something, even though it's probably like wholesome content. It's just sounds scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I have a hard time picking just a song. And it changes. It changes so much, just like time, right? Like if you were to ask me this question when I was back in high school, like it's that angsty punk, it's that the type of same music of what we just saw of All American Rejects in that camp. I found the Reputation album by Taylor Swift really late in my life. Like it was literally like this past year really of appreciating that specific album because I did not listen to it pretty much at all whenever it came out. And so lately, if I'm wanting to get in a pump up mood, I'm turning that album on. And there's multiple songs on there that I just let that go. But that's probably just as a recency bias what I would lean into.
Sure.
That album specifically was one of the ones I cared less for when it came out and then some years after. When I went to her show, the Eras tour show,
Yeah.
one of the most hyped segments
that
of
one,
the show.
100%.
That when they brought that
100%.
era out, the fans were, they were singing every song anyway, but
Yeah.
that just amped it up
Yeah.
a whole nother level.
That probably has a big influence on that album for me as well, because I don't think it was until I didn't go live, but I saw it on Disney. And when I saw it, I was like, holy shit, she's a fucking badass right now.
It was cool.
Like it was
real cool.
It's so good. It gives me chills even just anytime I watch it. So yeah, that probably has a big influence in me being like, okay, let me check out this album.
People will knock Taylor Swift fans, whatever, without even giving it the time of day. But I think there's like a Taylor Swift song you can find for everyone. There's so many different styles.
Right.
And topics. There's a Taylor Swift song for you out there. You just got to find it. You just got to find it.
Yeah, Eric, you just got to find it.
Yeah. Speaking of knocking
couple.
Taylor Swift, I got a nice hoodie I wore specifically for this podcast today. Just had to rep some red hot chili peppers. Because there's been these people walking around town from podcast to podcast knocking the red hot chili peppers. And I thought I'd have to rep and kind of.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm not talking about anybody in specific.
Oh.
No one from 6 Degrees.
No, we'll call him out Paris Delgado. I'll cut a promo on him right now.
Cut a promo.
People know me and Paris, we butt heads, we clash. We're not friends at all. Yeah, all right, I'm just kidding. Love you guys.
No, this is actually incredible because this is now going to be back-to-back shout-outs specifically to Paris about the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yes.
Yeah, no, you make a hot take, you're going to be bringing it. Actually, you know what, to be fair, though, to be absolutely fair to him, out of those 100,000 minutes, there's not 1 minute that was Red Hot Chili Peppers. I can guarantee that. Like, I have this hoodie because I went to the show. I went to the show.
Well, and that's actually a really nice hoodie.
That's the other thing is I like concert hoodies, and I like going to events with friends, and you put concerts and friends together. That's a great time. So I went to Red Hot Chili Peppers. It was great. This hoodie is really cool.
It is a really cool hoodie.
So yeah, I bought it. I don't wear it too often. I'm neutral on Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'll listen to them. I won't listen to them. Whatever. I just had to play around and bring it.
Too good.
Okay, well, how about you? What's your pump up?
Pump up song is a very specific, and so kind of what you said about Taylor, about she has so much music, you can find a song that you like. So for me, specific song, specific verse of a specific song. So Lil Wayne's verse on "We Taking Over" by DJ Khaled. If I want,
that is very specific.
If I'm like both of you, like it depends on the mood, it depends on stuff, but it's just I want to get hyped up right now. Just play me like that. It's not even. It's like a 60-second verse.
No, it's a good one too. I mean, that got all the attention at the time.
Yeah, I love Lil Wayne. Always been a big Lil Wayne fan, and for whatever reason, like that song just always hits.
I love to test out car speakers or stereo systems with. It's a Jay-Z song, but it features Lil Wayne. It's called "Hello Brooklyn." It's a great subwoofer song.
Just bumps.
That's my tester song. Yeah.
That's funny because when that album came out, like I didn't really like that song.
Hello Brooklyn?
Yeah, I skipped it a lot. And then like I came back to it. I was like, oh no, this one kind of goes hard.
It's a subwoofer song.
I mean,
It's a subwoofer
isn't that
song.
interesting too, though? Because so much of listening to music, it's what stage of my life am I in right now for something to resonate with me? And again, like I wasn't even really paying attention to Reputation or even Taylor at that time in my life. It just wasn't part of it. But there's a reason why the music I was listening to, I was attracted to, and why, and like which songs on the album did I skip and did I not, and maybe rediscovered an album years later or a song years later, and it just is a completely different song to me now because of my experiences in life.
One of my best friends, high school best friend, she always tell me, she's like, I know your love language, sharing songs.
Yeah.
She's like, that's telling you send songs to people, and that's your way of showing them some sort of love. There are songs where you remember exactly where you were when you first heard it.
Christine and I talk about this a lot. It's the closest thing we have to a time machine. Where it can take me back to a moment, a time where something was happening, could be good, could be bad. Certain songs just like instantly can take you back. I'm curious for you, because we've talked a lot about music, and I'm curious, what is it about music for you? How did it become so important for you? How do you become the person that's, I have this song for you, let me share this song with you, if that becomes your love language?
It's like a two-part answer, I guess. Number one is I'm always looking for, I guess to phrase it, it's the only way I know how to describe it, is like a way to escape. I put on my headphones and I go on a walk. I put my headphones, I go to the gym. I'm in my car and I'm playing music. I'm just in that moment, singing the songs or listening to them or whatever's happening. I've always been more of an introverted person, and I've always kind of kept to myself. I'm also a very private person, but music has always been that way to let my brain not be active. I'm not thinking about anything else.
Sure. So it's music for you is very in the foreground, not the background. Like it's taking focus away from other things.
And I think I'm just naturally attracted to people that share that to some degree.
Yeah. And
so my closest friends are probably my closest friends because we've been able to share certain types of music with each other. And I don't know, one thing that I like is liking so many styles of music, because I can find that friend that's going to be like, hey, did you hear this country song? Or did you hear this Taylor Swift song? Or did you hear this metal song or whatever? And so I can connect with different types of people in that way.
Yeah.
And that comes from, I don't know, maybe it's when I was a kid, I was at home. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She was always having country radio playing.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
90s.
What were your parents bumping? When you
90s country radio. My mom was
Christina.
My mom was playing 90s countries radio. So, you know, it was all the big stars of the 90s. And then my dad was playing classic rock in the rock stations. So I got a little bit of that, of both sides of that. And then growing up in the 90s, you had all the pop acts that were exploding, the boy bands and
girl groups.
the individual girls, the girl groups. And so, you know, I was exposed to that a lot. And it was more of, I laugh about this sometimes. It was one of the first times I ever felt like the feeling of you like something and then you have a peer make fun of you for it. You know, like you've been shamed.
Who was it?
You know, you've been shamed. No, so I went over this guy. I remember his name too. I won't say it because
this is something you don't forget.
I remember it. No, it was fine. But you know, he opened my eyes to other stuff. But at the same time, that first time, and I don't live like this at all nowadays. But it's interesting looking at all these points in my life where you've been made to feel a certain way about what you like or what you do or whatever. And my whole personality is I'm going to like whatever I'm going to like, and you can't tell me anything about that.
Sure.
Which is really freeing. But it was, I went over and he was like, what do you listen to or what are you listening to? And it was like, I don't know, probably like Backstreet Boys or something. And he probably made some like elementary school kid insult or whatever. And it was like, I listen to Green Day. like, and like looking at Green Day now, I'm like, that's pretty soft. It's not like it's that like extreme, but that was like, he was cooler than me.
Cool.
Yeah.
He thought because, he was listening to Green Day and everyone listening to something else was, however he had them labeled at the time. Also being like, I don't know, 1 year older than me in elementary school. Like, what did he know? I laugh at that because I remember that. One of those first times feeling like embarrassed by what I liked. Just like a weird thing, but you're a kid.
Feeling.
You don't have that like worldview. You don't have confidence in what you value and listen to and whatever it might be.
There's adults that still don't.
Yeah.
Some of us get trapped in as those little kids. Some of those experiences are so traumatic that I don't grow out out of it.
I know, and I don't know when the switch hit for me, but I there was just one day I was like, can I swear on here?
Absolutely.
One day I was like, fuck them. I'm going to like this. I'm going to go to this. I'm going to like this. I'm going to say I'm listening to this, or I'm going to go to this show. And they're like, you do that? Hell yeah, I do that. Mm-hmm. I gave the example recently because I haven't been before, but I think like Disney on Ice is coming in January in San Diego. And I'm like, I've never been before. And then it crossed my mind. It's funny because I think about that idea. If I went and told somebody that I was interested in going to see Disney on Ice, they'd look at me and they're like, 35-year-old male, tattooed up, like, what? And I'm going to say in my head, fuck them. Like, I'm going to go, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to be shame-free, and I'm probably going to really like it because it's performance, and I like performance art, whatever it is. It may be Disney and ice skating. You know what is really cool? Ice skating's pretty sick. Like, maybe not in the Disney context, it's a different thing, right? But you watch like world championship freestyle.
I watched a lot of ice skating growing up. My sister ice skated from when she was about 3 until she was 14. So I spent a lot of time in the ice rink. It's impressive.
I'm not a Disney adult, and a lot of people hate on Disney adults. But again, it's like, what makes you feel fulfilled? What are you enjoying? How are you living your life? Are you happy? Who cares? It's like the idea of, your opinion has nothing to do with me.
It's so true. And it's funny, this whole conversation, we literally, on one of our first episodes, the question that you had for me, Eric, was like, what's the nicest thing that you've done for yourself? And we were a little bit tipsy when we were recording this. If you listen back, you might be able to tell. But I did say, I was like, I'm allowing myself to like Taylor Swift and not be ashamed of it, or not be like weird about, because there's so many haters out there. And he was like, that's the nicest thing you've ever done for yourself. But like, when you just said it out loud, it actually puts more context behind it. It's not just about her specifically, but it is about letting go and just being like, fuck them. I'm gonna like the things that I like. And why do I have to carry any shame for liking the things that I like? As long as it's not something that harms other people, who gives a fuck?
Well, and then I guess you can ask the question, Eric, why do you like that? And you can just say, because it makes me feel good.
Sure.
What does that person respond to that with?
Right.
Other than acceptance. Unless it's something that's actually morally reprehensible or against the law or something, then maybe they have an opinion that has some weight to it, but otherwise they don't.
Why do you like burning buildings? It makes me feel good.
It makes me feel great. It's just crazy how it
I want to watch it burn.
And the heat just...
You're 7. It shouldn't make you feel good, but this is...
Yeah, so there is places where...
There's parameters.
No, the asterisk of, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone, and as long as it's not illegal, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. As we're talking, that's where my head started going down this rabbit hole of like, oh, this is...
Yeah,
dangerous.
And I read this idea recently where it's like, it takes creativity to not dislike something. It takes creativity not to judge people. It takes creativity. You can just kind of add extra words there. It takes creativity not to blame others for things. It's just a really cool concept, and I like to try to keep that in mind.
That is interesting, I think, because something that we've said on here so often is approaching people with curiosity versus judgment. And curiosity is creative.
Yes.
Because it's a more creative approach to even asking the question of, oh, I wonder why. And instead of just going, the easy thing to do is to judge. That's the easy thing to do. But to be creative and be curious, that's a different path.
Well, I like the word creativity in that context because the way I'm kind of thinking about it, framing is it's narrow, and if it's narrow, there's only one solution. But creativity opens up all of it. It's like, you tell me a thing, you like Taylor Swift. It's why do you like Taylor Swift? I start associating all these things, and or just one thing versus the infinite possibilities of like, it just makes me feel good.
Right.
She's amazing at what she does. I saw her at the Eras tour, and it blew my mind.
And that made me feel good.
And that made you feel good.
If you don't like it, again, that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
You have something going on in your brain that makes you feel a way about me liking something.
Yep.
And that's weird. So
that's weird.
that's weird. Well, it's the
so go ahead.
I was going to say the other idea is related to the thinking creative, or however you want to use another similar word, is if you're always following what society is kind of telling you. What's popular now, and you should like this because everyone else likes it, or everyone's doing this thing. And again, if you want to get to extremes, it's like, well, everyone's pushing you to do something bad or think a bad way. Mm-hmm. It takes a creative thought to change that, to get out of that. Someone to go, wait a minute, think creatively, again, like quote unquote. Yeah, it's a cool concept, and I really like it.
Have you always been the type of person that zags when people zig?
Yes. I like to think it's a good quality or good personality trait, but you tell me not to do something, and I'm probably going to do it.
More interested.
Yeah, you tell me that I should do something, and I'm probably going to say no or question why, unless it makes me feel good. You tell me that I can't do something, like not that I'm not allowed, but you're not going to be able to achieve that thing. Well, then I'm going to go achieve it. I'm going to go do it. Yeah. And I won't even tell you about it. It'll just be something that gets in my head, and not in like a negative way, but I can do that. I'm going to do it. And when I reach the goal, I'm going to be satisfied for reaching it. I'm not going to go advertise it. Be like, hey, you know what? You told me 6 years ago that I couldn't do this, and I did it. No, I'm going to be totally satisfied that I did it. And I'm like, yeah. I think I've never been, let's say elementary, middle school, high school, whatever. I wasn't one of the cool kids, right? I was kind of, I don't know, like I said, introverted. I did my own thing. I had my groups of friends and whatnot, but I wasn't a part of the cool crowd. And a little bit of that was where I came from in terms of my family and like economic status and all that. But I had to kind of early on, and I think this kind of came natural to me, just accept things if I couldn't change them, if it's my circumstances, change my mindset, really.
Sure.
Or if I could change something, then do it. So it's either change things, and if you can't, change your mindset. And so I kind of learned that as a way of like a self-defense kind of mechanism for my brain to keep me from feeling like a frustrated kid or angry at my situation or my parents or whatever it might have been. Naturally, I knew that I didn't like feeling negative emotions. And so I was really interested, without knowing what personal development even was.
Sure.
And I called it mental gymnastics, and I still do to this day. It's like, how can I like flip things in my brain and do certain things to make me be okay with this situation or move forward with that situation. And so becoming comfortable in my skin where I was, whatever my thing might be. And then that led into naturally the ideas that we were just talking about, which is like what you like. People tried to bully me when I was a kid to whatever degrees. I don't, every kid deals with it differently, but my defense to that was just, okay, come at me with an insult, and I just go, okay. And then there's no fun in bullying me because I'm just, sure. Personal development has always been like a big thing for me, and I've dug into a lot of it, especially post-school, like after I got out of law school. And I was no longer studying in the library for hours and hours about like textbook subjects. And I was able to deep dive a lot more in my adult life and really narrow down a lot of these ideas and be able to establish values for myself, rules for myself, boundaries for myself. But, it's a constant battle.
Yeah, there's no finish line.
Yeah.
It's
called being human.
You fall in and out of it, too. There's periods where I felt really fulfilled, and followed by periods where I felt kind of lost, and then followed by periods where I feel fulfilled. Well, and thankfully, I look at that as it's enough times where I really know where I need to be to feel fulfilled. Mm-hmm. I know what things I can push, what things I can alter.
Yeah.
And that just makes for a very peaceful life. I'm in a really great place.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I tell this to people all the time. I don't know how people get drama in their lives. I feel like you have to try to get drama in your life.
Yeah.
To some extent. Well, outside of your control, there's like you move into a new place and you have this neighbor who's just being obnoxious and crazy. Like, that's not in. But like you hear from people, friends, colleagues, whoever, and they're always telling you stories. And you're like, man, how are you always involved in this? Like, how are you always involved in these things?
Yeah.
I'm just really lucky. I don't have drama in my life. I don't have conflict. I don't have anyone to blame for anything, and therefore I don't have anyone to forgive. I'm not seeking things or, I don't know, like achievements for happiness. I've really learned how to be happy in the now.
Yeah.
So I'm not constantly like, oh, when I get this, I'll be happy. When I get this, I'll be
Right.
happy. Or this person has this, or they have this experience. And my response is, hell yeah. I'm going to go tell Eric, that's awesome. Like what I saw him do. Or Christina, I'm going to tell her that's awesome that you did this.
Right.
Instead of feeling like
right.
some sort of, I need that too, or that's not fair. How come I don't get that? And again, maybe that comes from that kind of journey from when I was a kid to learning how to, if it did at one time make me feel a certain way, I realized naturally, like, I don't like that feeling. So what do I need to do to get that feeling to not happen anymore?
Right. And that's just the self
Yeah.
development,
Yeah.
personal development piece, right? The feelings happen. It's how quickly do I move out of them? Is there a specific age or time for you that you kind of, it sounds like you figured out you,
Yeah.
right? Obviously this is an ongoing journey, but is there a specific time, specific age, or is like, because I had one where it was like, no, I kind of, this time I kind of started to ask questions in a different way, go down a different path. So I'm curious if there was a specific time for you.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of funny because my first reaction to that question was every time I feel like, yes, I know me and I know it is, I look back 2 years at that time and go, oh, I didn't know anything then.
I didn't know shit.
And now I know stuff now. And then 2 years back before that, like I thought I knew something and like I didn't know shit then either. But the biggest spurt, I would say, of growth, 2018 to 2019, that era, that time period, that's really when I had the time to deep dive. And I had a whole routine. I was listening to books, reading books. I was journaling a lot. What I would do, and I still like to do this, is I'd read a book or listen to it, more likely at a coffee shop. I'd have my iPad with me, and my iPad has a journaling app or like notepad or whatever.
Yeah.
And as I'm listening, if there's something that I was like, I like that, I want that to be a part of my thought processes, I want to make that a part of who I am, I'd write it down. And then I'd go back and review my notes like at a different time, maybe at the coffee shop again, and I'd go and highlight certain things. And what I would like to do is then create affirmations for myself. And I would turn in my note from these books on whatever concept it was into an affirmation. Or I'd turn it into a journal prompt. I turn that thing into a question so that when I go and do a journal time, I can just pick a prompt based on something I've learned in a book.
Sure.
And then I could just write about it and why it is or isn't or how I'm making it a part of my life or my experience with that idea.
And that's something that you still do?
It's not as prevalent. But
not as consistent?
Not as consistent, but it's something I'm getting back into more often actually right now because I had a little bit of a period of burnout this year, a few months ago, where I was just depleted. I fell out of fulfillment. Generally, everything else was the same, but I was just low energy. At enough energy where I just consolidated things. I can get work done. I could do my work, and serve my clients. I can go to the gym, walk my dog, and then it was just like... That's it, and listen to music or listen to music, turn on a TV show to zone out. When I'm in that, I'm aware. I don't like the feeling where I'm at, and I want to be fulfilled, and I remember where I was when I was last feeling fulfillment. And a lot of that comes down to there's certain routines I like. I like to be able to get up early, listen to a book, whether it's fiction or like a personal development type book. I like to sit down with my journal and reconnect. It was funny, I'm not religious, but I had this kind of epiphany or realization when someone's practicing any religion and they kind of fall out of their practice and their life goes a certain way, and then at some point they say, well, I found my way back to...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what saved me and brought me. It was like a weird, I think I understand what they mean because I had this practice, this very, in a sense, spiritual practice and development and working on exercising my brain and doing different things. And then that fell off for whatever reasons, just with life.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't feel great. I think I can make a few adjustments. And one is I want to get back into my routines.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and I kind of chuckled about it. I was like, I found my way back. Yeah.
Well, I think that's so powerful to me around like what was working when it was good, right? And because there's a bunch of stuff that's contributing to that. But if I kind of pull that apart, as well, I don't do this anymore, and I really liked when I did this, and I don't do that as much. We fall in and out of things. I go through waves of things, and so for me, it's very similar. Like morning routine. If I'm running those two things, if I'm doing those two things, everything else is kind of dominoes. Right. If I take one of them away, so I've been running. I was really good about it for a couple months, and then I just pulled my calf. I tried to do it too early the other day, and it's interesting how certain things ground us, and certain things are very much like, no, I need that, or I need a version of that might change. But to understand and have the awareness around like what's different, what was working when it was good, why don't I do that anymore? Or why didn't it happen? The reason's irrelevant, but like, what if I add that back in some way, shape, or form? Is really, really important, I think, to figure that part out. To me, that's been my journey of understanding me.
Yeah.
Right. Do you listen to, or have you read anything with Matthew McConaughey?
You know what?
Recently?
I haven't listened to it, but I did purchase his
Green Lights?
memoir? Yeah, that one.
Green Lights, or
I have that. I have Green Lights. I have not listened to it yet. I actually have a library of Audible books I have not touched yet.
Okay.
There's quite a few, and a lot of times it's because of conversations like this. We're like, have you read this? No, I haven't. Let me
Green Lights is
pick it up.
Great. So two reasons I say that. One, McConaughey did something similar. Basically since he was, I forget the age, but since he was like 15, early teenage years, he would do what you're describing about journaling, filtering through the journal, and he calls them bumper stickers.
Sure.
And he just collected bumper stickers. There's just kind of slogans and these life mantras that he lived by after 50 whatever years. He took them all and like wrote the book. So Green Lights, it's a little bit of autobiography. I've audio listened to it twice. It's one of the few audiobooks I've re-listened to.
Sure.
And it's just him, and it's just
very him.
He's just like one of just the coolest, the way he talks and him narrating the book. It's a good listen. Yeah, but it reminded me of what you're describing around having this journaling reflection period and kind of pulling things out of what serves me in what I'm taking away, rather than so many people just read the book to read the book and say I read the book and here's my pile of books that I read.
Yeah, and you don't really dig into it like it's a textbook.
Yeah.
Most people don't, and like you said, you end up with books on your shelf and you're not applying.
Yeah.
The problem is you're not applying, and then the other part is the awareness part, right? You have to be aware enough to realize you're in a rut, and aware enough that there's things that you can do about it, like we just talked about, and aware enough to not blame others for the rut you're in, taking accountability, which is something that a lot of people struggle with.
It's hard. I think there's a lot of people who don't want to have awareness. It's the ignorance is bliss kind of conversation, right? And it's funny because I think that with the awareness, and when I work through the ruts and I work through some of these things that are actually holding me back, then the bliss is on the other side of that. But the work part comes first, and people don't want to do it.
It's interesting trying to find, like, there's probably a million reasons why they don't want to do it.
I mean, it's scary. It's so vulnerable to look at myself in the mirror and go, oh, just like even going back to the original kind of conversation around letting myself be free enough to like the things that I want to like, but even just getting through all that, it's a very vulnerable thing to hold up that mirror and say like, oh, this is internal. This has everything to do with something about me and nothing to do about why Robert likes Taylor Swift, right? Like, it just, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, this was when earlier I kind of had a thought. So we've talked about this, but so typically if you just meet someone and you really like the other person, it has nothing to do with the other person. I just really like how you are making me feel, how I'm showing up with you. Yeah. We're connecting over things, so it seems like there's common ground, but it has nothing to do with you. Yeah. I like the mirror that's being shown to me, and it's all about me. We're very selfish creatures.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, I don't. I don't. It just depends on how that selfishness is. If you're saying, I like this person, I mean, you're not really saying it, right? It's the feeling, right? No one's aware of what you're saying, right?
Right.
Just, I like that person because of them, which is...
I don't hate the person. As simple as, like, if the opposite is true. If I meet someone and instantly, like, I'm like, ugh, like, I don't want to be around this person. They did something that bothered me. what it's actually doing is telling me something about myself.
Right.
Right. And it could be something small and simple, or it could be something like, oh no, like that is against like my core value type thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
But it could be something as simple as their breath smells. And it's like, does my breath smell? Am I self-conscious about my breath? Right. And like, it's that simple.
Yeah.
And maybe not the best example, but it's so interesting that how I feel about someone is actually about me, not the other person.
I was thinking about the concept of liking, or not even the idea of liking people, but quick judges of character. I'd like to say I'm a quick judge of character, but in the sense of you walk into a room and you scan the room and find the exits. You need to know where to go out if there's an emergency, right?
Right.
In the sense of scanning these people, meeting somebody and sensing real quick, is this person going to take away from my energy in a negative way?
Yeah.
Are they going to add value? I can get along with a lot of people. I can hang out with a group of people that I don't relate to and make it through that evening and perfectly fine. But it doesn't mean I have to do that, or it doesn't mean like I have to go back, right? If I'm with a friend and they introduce me to a group of people, I'm going to make the most of the evening.
Yeah.
Those may not be people I choose to go back and hang out with because they're not reflecting something that makes me feel a certain way. And it's just like you said. It has nothing to do with them. They could be perfectly great people.
Nothing. Yeah, there's nothing. I think that the other part of this is like, one, it's impossible to get everyone to like you.
Sure.
Right. And there's not enough time in the world to spend it with everyone and getting to know everyone at a certain level. And it gets really interesting. It's like, no, like these are people that make me feel good. So I'm going to spend more time with the people that make me feel good. And that could be family, that could be friends, that could be 6 degrees, whatever that is. And it's so interesting that most of us aren't that intentional with it. Right. My significant other is dragging me to this thing, but I got to do it because got to keep the wife happy or whatever. There's just different versions of that continually happen in this world, and we just kind of accept it. And to your point is like, if I show up at something like that, Christina's bringing me to something, and I go, I'm going to make the most of this. And I become really good friends with her friend's friend. That's happened in my life. It was like, because I have the same kind of mentalities. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I'm going to sit down and just I'm going to be very curious. I'm going to ask a bunch of questions, sometimes too many questions. But you can put me in a room and like, I'll make the most of it.
It's also like the outside forces or your energy levels. What did you go through that day? What's
100%.
Going on?
100%.
But taking all that out, I like to think of it as, let me check it out. Because worst case scenario, I'm going to go home at the end of the night and say, well, that was a thing I did. And best case scenario, you're going to feel really good about yourself.
Yeah. Well, so much of stepping into something like this is mentality and just mindset. We talk a lot about like the happy hour networking type thing from a business standpoint. Is there's two options, especially if I'm by myself. I can come here, I can sit in the corner and talk to no one, or I can make the most of it and go say hi to a couple people and get what I need out of the event and leave. Right? Both of those are available, and whatever the experience that I want to have going into it will shape that, or halfway through it and kind of go, well, actually, I wanted to do this, so let me make sure I talk to this one person.
Another idea that kind of related, I think it's a Tony Robbins concept. I got it from one of his books, I think. The idea of what your rules are. For example, this is the easiest example I usually share is, what are your rules for what makes you happy?
Sure.
A bad rule being, I'm happy when Eric and Christina invite me to things. Because, sure, that would make you happy. But you're completely reliant on
It's external.
Eric.
It's
external, right? So a better rule is, I'm happy when I invite them to something. I'm not going to wait and feel sad if you guys don't invite me something for the next 3 months. You know? But if I invite you to something and you can attend, cool. And if you can't, then I still feel good, and you guys probably have a conversation.
Or to just shortcut the invite piece, because there's action on both. I'm happy when I'm around, fill in the blank. I'm happy to
I'm happy to talk to them.
To have this time, right? I'm happy to just, and that's so much of what this podcast has become, is like, I'm just happy that you're here.
Yeah.
That you're in that chair, that we get to spend an hour and a half. And already in this conversation, there's been 3 or 4 things like, oh, I knew this about Robert, but now I know it a little bit more. And I love how you're articulating it. And the personal, I can relate so much on the personal development, personal growth thing that we've never talked about that at depth.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps a million times. And I just got the word 1,000,000 because there's a book down there that says 1,000,000 followers. And that totally primed my brain. But it helps a million times over for the work that I do.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I like to say that I'm in constant conflict with conflict. I don't want to be in conflict, and I don't want people to be in conflict. And my job is to help them get out of their conflict. But seeing it all day long, all week long,
Yeah.
and not letting my brain get some skewed perception of society or people, or just being drained, it keeps me centered when I have these practices. Everyone should have a practice of some type. I like to think of one of my favorite concepts is how you define yourself, in the sense of when you use words like I am both being like now and then as an affirmation. So I imagine you wouldn't say I'm Eric and I am an angry person, right? But people will still say like I am angry, I'm mad. I try to flip that concept, because every time you say I'm something, it intensifies it or it expands. It becomes
it feeds
right?
the thought, it feeds
Right.
the perception, it feeds the idea.
Right. So I like to think of this concept where I shouldn't say I'm mad. I have this feeling. So there's a part of me that feels mad because I'm not mad. I am Robert. And I prefer to say I am happy. That's my affirmation, right?
Yeah.
So if I have a feeling that is mad, it's not me. And it's certainly not, we've been talking about this the whole time, it's not the other source
Right.
that's making me mad. Nothing's making me mad except my thoughts, my expectations, probably.
Yeah.
There's a part of me, something that feels mad, and it pulls you out. If you're in this emotional state, whatever it is, it could be a different emotion.
Yeah.
But if you start thinking like that while you're feeling it, you step out of the feeling and you no longer feel it anymore, and you're more curious about, why is a part of me feeling this way?
Right. It disassociates, disconnects me from the feeling. And if I say I am X, it actually causes the brain, and there's a bunch of neurological stuff that proves this, is we actually embody that. We feel like we actually own the language that we're using to describe. So when I say I'm mad, I actually become it. And it's the same thing where, not even emotions, but it's the reason that, like, if I ask, who is Robert? Tell me who you are. Naturally, what anyone does is starts listing, well, we start talking about our job title and how important that is. Our identity is all of these I ams kind of baked over each other. Part of it's feelings, part of this, I'm a lawyer, I'm a brother, sister, like whatever. And they just kind of get baked into it. But at the core of it is like, who am I? And what do I want to be? And that's where the affirmation of like, no, I'm happy.
It bothers me too, because the idea of we're all holding some amount of anger to whatever degree within us right now, potentially. And what I mean by that is, at this moment, I imagine you don't feel angry. You don't look angry. You're talking to me very nicely. If I say, are you holding anger? You're probably like, I don't know. I don't think so. But the idea is, you get in your car and someone cuts you off.
Oh, that happened today.
Oh,
Yes.
we just got yelled
Yes.
at. We just
Well,
got
No,
yelled
it was
at.
I wasn't even cut off.
No, it wasn't a cutoff situation. It was
It's so funny that you brought that
break
up.
in front of. But that's funny. Immediately, because
It's
I
the
can
most
see,
common thing.
I can see her face screaming at us, like, "What's wrong? What's your problem?" or something.
Well, imagine her, right? So she was living
Yep,
her day.
Totally.
And maybe, we don't know her situation, but maybe she was in a situation like this. She was in a podcast with two of her friends. She's having a good day, and she got on the road, and these jackasses just cut her off or something. She started yelling at them. But that anger came from somewhere, right? If we weren't holding anything, if we weren't holding any anger or whatever other emotions inside, there's this concept of you wouldn't have any to let out.
Yeah.
Right? If someone cuts you off, and I use it because, again, it's the most common example possible. We all get frustrated with drivers on the road to some extent. If they cut us off and we went, that person just cut me off. That was unsafe. That's great, because then you're causing yourself so much pain by getting angry,
yeah.
and you carry it, and you you don't necessarily know it, but it's there to some degree. And that concept, I like it. So when I say it bothers me, it's kind of like my play on it. It's like, I want to get to the root. I want to get to these places and scenarios, and you got to do the work. But when something happens and there's nothing to let out, of a lot of our emotions, we all come from different backgrounds. We all have, at least the three of us here, have over 30 years each of life experience.
Mm-hmm.
So we have expectations that we set for other people, which is ridiculous too,
Right.
to whatever degree, right? There's like expectations when there's rules in place. For me, I go to a courtroom, there's an expectation for how I'm going to behave in front of a judge.
Mm-hmm.
I've accepted that. I entered into that space accepting these rules. But most of the expectations that get us angry are these ridiculous expectations that we set on people we don't know, and even people we do know.
Well, there's societal norms. There's
Right.
societal expectations that, and then culturally, there's certain cultures that have it, and then there's things.
But then there's the expectation that everyone's going to follow that.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what
That
pisses
your rules,
people off.
your rules are the same rules as mine.
Right.
Well-
And I like to say that, like, an expectation based on physics is the only expectation I can rely upon. So meaning if I take my phone right now and let go of it and it hits the floor, I could expect that 100 times out of 100 times. But if someone does something to me that's quote unquote unexpected, well, there was a possibility they could do that. So it's an expectation. Got to reframe it,
Yeah.
So
It's so interesting because there's another thing that's popping in my brain about expectations. What about the 101th time where that phone turns into a butterfly?
well, laws of physics.
But it's just like
Well, yeah, science, I know, it's only as far as we know
it's
right?
until proven until it's not.
Yeah, it's proven until
true
it's
until
not.
it's not.
Exactly. So I think about that as much as possible. So whenever something happens or triggers an emotion from me, or maybe happens, again, with the quote-unquote outside of the expectations, I kind of laugh either at the irony of it or go, oh, well, guess I should have expected that. Like, that was a possibility.
Sure, you're reflecting. Like,
Yeah, you are reflecting.
You have some sort of feedback loop mechanism of this happened, that's funny. Next time, whatever. Like, there's actually a dialogue happening in your brain between you and whatever the experience is and how that related to the expectation. I think that's unique. I don't think everyone does. So much of it just react.
Yeah.
Human nature is just to react. Did you have something?
When we were talking about like the emotion side, the idea of we're not in conflict against each other. So it was like the I am conversation. It's like, I'm not in conflict with my spouse. We are actually on the same team and we're trying to figure out and resolve the conflict itself. So it's pitting people against each other versus the team against the problem, which I'm sure is like such a big part of, it's certainly part of marital relationships, but that's any relationship, and that can be business, right? When there's a conflict, quote unquote, with the boss or somebody that I'm not in agreement with, it's, well, no, like there's a moose, there's an issue, there's something happening, and we can team up and work against that issue versus continuing to just be in conflict against each other.
Right. It's like delineating that. You can put it in various boxes, but if you and Eric are bickering over the way something is organized in your house, that's not conflict to me. That's all right. Well, let's talk through this. Let's figure it out. There's a much heavier and deeper potential conflict that's not happening there at all.
Right? Oh
Right.
yeah, the small little things are.
Yeah, I don't consider that.
Those are, well, I mean, they're tied to and they're connected to whatever the deep underlying
potentially
thing is, right?
Yeah.
So much of the fight isn't about the fight, right?
And then, like, for instance, I mean, by the nature of my profession, it's adversarial, and there's arguments. I mean, I'm a lawyer, so you're making legal arguments, but that's not even necessarily conflict, because there can be a gray area in some words, and you're just arguing a certain interpretation someone else is.
Right.
It's when the conflict, quote unquote, again, depending on how we're defining it, is when there's something that doesn't need to be argued about, and it's personally because of a blame state of mind or resentment, or you can't let another person win. It's the lack of accountability things. That's the conflict that is constant. And what I have to attempt to try to get my clients to see if they're the ones in that place, or try to be creative enough to offer possible solutions to get the other person to move from that space. So yeah, it's interesting with what is conflict versus argument. It's a concept that I guess I need a word for that I don't have. But
to back up a little bit, so in terms of your profession and being a lawyer, of all the different types of lawyer you could have been, what made you go down this specific rabbit hole? Why
choose family law?
Family law?
It honestly was like, hey, I've always been interested in communication and how people communicate and personal development. And those were two of my main thoughts when I was deciding whether to apply for a family law position. I knew I wanted to work with individuals. I knew what areas of law that had individual clients that I didn't want to pursue. I looked at it and I said, I think I can do it. I think I can do it. And, it's interesting because I don't live vicariously through the drama or the conflict.
Well, you said that earlier about drama. Part of me is like, well, I can tell you why you don't have drama.
Well,
I don't have time. You're the person that sees it, has front row seats to it every day, and go, yeah, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Versus some people that get into it, there are people that are in certain professions because of the drama, and they love it. There's therapists that they love to sit down and have you tell me all the juicy gossip and all the stuff, and they thrive off of it.
Well, and they're my colleagues too.
Yeah.
Not all of them. There's great family law attorneys out there, but some people, they take on their clients' position as if it's their own.
Sure.
I get a case. I'm on the case for 5 minutes. I call up the other attorney, and all of a sudden I get yelled at for all these things that my client's allegedly doing.
Yeah,
and I have to steer the conversation back to, hey, hi. Hello.
It's the same thing as getting cut off.
I'm a human.
It's the same thing as getting cut off on the highway.
Yeah.
It's just the attorney version of that.
I mean, that's true. But yeah, it's like, hey, I'm a human. I'm not the client. I didn't do all the things.
I could have been hired by your client, and you could have been hired by mine. And we don't control who walks through the door.
Yeah.
And I'm here to try to make sure this whole thing doesn't blow up. Make sure Eric doesn't light this house on fire and watch it burn down.
Some people want to see the fireworks.
Yeah.
They want to see the house on fire. They want to. They pour gasoline on the fire.
So to your point, I don't have the bandwidth. I don't take anything home with me.
From day one, when you got into that profession, or is that something that you had to learn from the personal development growth standpoint?
I think I did pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I knew that there would be an amount of stimulus or exposure or whatever that my job would bring to me every day, and I would need boundaries, and the boundaries are a lifesaver. I leave work, whatever time I leave, say I left at 5 p.m., I'm done. It's out of my head. I don't put my email on my phone. I don't want to be tempted to check an email for whatever reason. Sometimes I do. I'll log in online if I'm expecting something and I really need something. Yeah, I have those boundaries in a place that has really helped me big time. It gives me the time to recharge. Separate yourself.
Well, we've talked about this before, Christina, around that's how, before email, phones, internet, that's how it was. My phone rings at my desk. That's the only way you can get a hold of me. I do the work that I'm going to do for the day, and if whatever I don't get done, I leave it on the desk and I come pick it up tomorrow.
Yes, and something that's kind of right now hitting me was that more of I work in corporate and I have a 9-to-5, but not necessarily the same case for the business owner or the entrepreneur who maybe that's the only place that I can work, but that's why they're literally in the office until 9 p.m. or whatever, right? And getting home super late is because this is the only place I can go, I can work. So is that from the perspective of the owner and the person who has this is what I have to do, these are my tasks, these are my clients, and this is what I'm going to operate, and then there's also then there's the business that's on top of that, and am I operating the whole thing?
I would say, and so much of, and you know this, like I don't care how many hours of work I do. If I'm excited about what we're doing and there's energy around it, like I would be at the office. But like I think having the separation is the healthy part. However it shows up. If I want to stay till 9 p.m. or I want to stay till midnight because I'm the owner and I'm putting the time in, as long as that doesn't turn into this victim thing where I start like, oh, you should feel bad for me because I'm working so hard. Right?
Yeah, no. The people who brag about like, oh, well, I put in a whatever hour work week, I'm like, good for you. Was that what made you happy? Is that what, I don't know. Are you complaining or are you, it used to happen a lot.
You're saying like the 80 hour, the high end of that.
Not
someone's like, oh, I only worked 3 hours this week and I'm super excited about it. Right? Like that's the other
and
end
then
of the
even
spectrum.
going back to like, if I am only working 10 hours in the week and I'm excited about it, it's having what you said earlier about the mindset of that's awesome. Like, I'm going to applaud that instead of be jealous about it.
I had this interesting thought recently too about professionals, and this is kind of the same topic. Someone, you use the word brag, but say they're bragging they worked a certain amount of time, and then you're like, well, I only work 10 hours. I feel a way now because should I feel bad for only working 10 hours? Mm-hmm. Should I feel because someone's saying this is what success looks like. I wake up at 4 a.m. and do all these tasks, and then I do this, and then I do this, and I'm calendared. Again, that's so good for you. I'm excited for you. And it sounds like you are fulfilled. The way you're expressing it to me is you're fulfilled. And guess what? I'm also fulfilled. Mm-hmm. And so it's funny because taking it a step further of giving yourself a break from some work, or having work boundaries at least, whatever your hours and how you live your life and do your profession. I felt that way about online, just being online. I'd see content, and this is where that thought process came recently, is I'd see content on LinkedIn. This is like a professional networking space, but it's turned in kind of an Instagram in ways. And there's so much content being pushed at you from all these different...
I hate it.
Yes, I absolutely hate it. So that's also something that's not on my phone anymore. I have to log in online. But, I was seeing this content, and depending on who you're following, everyone has an opinion about how you should be living your life. Sorry to my financial advisor friends, but the financial advisors are out there telling you exactly what you should be doing or else like you're a failure. Maybe it's not that harsh. Maybe they're not saying it like that.
Sure.
But like you start to see stuff and you're like, I'm 35 years old. Should I have invested in that? Should I be doing that? Should I be buying this? Should I be doing... I'm like, I got to just cut this out. My life is good. I don't need content telling me. Again, the world and content telling me what Now, I need to be aware of my plan in life and have my professionals. I don't need to be just pumped with content from every source. So yeah, whatever it is, the LinkedIn's, the Instagrams. I haven't had a Facebook in years and years. I wish my phone, to your point, the last 10 minutes or so, I wish I had my old flip phone from the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. Just T9 texts and really nothing else. I say that to the degree of I love having maps on my phone. Maps is great.
Music, the music part is...
The music. Well, I used to have an iPod.
Yeah.
Back in the day when your iPod wasn't a part of your phone, I had just the iPod. I had different versions of the iPod. Just like all those CDs I invested in that are done. Like, man, but... There's a simplicity that I want to go back to. And I've been trying to implement that in my life because, like you said, we were doing fine. Now, there are a lot of things we can do more efficiently now. Mm-hmm. Well, no, but we get distracted because the tool that we have for efficiency is also causing us to...
Right.
Yeah, to be distracted.
It's a Swiss Army knife with 1,000 options.
Yeah.
It can do it all. I think we've talked about just like, so I dumbed my phone down.
Yeah. Because of you, my phone is a list of words instead of all the colors, and that's Eric. That's Eric. Eric did that, and man, it's.
I can't look at people's phone, and mine's very imperfect. There's some things that I've added to it, but like, so you've talked about kind of cutting certain things out, and I think when we've talked, I admire because you stick to stuff. Around.
Well, see, what happens is, this is a little thing that's unique to my brain is I wouldn't necessarily say fixate is the best word. When I get an idea
Yeah.
and I want to hit it.
You go all in on it.
I go in.
Yeah.
I go in on that, and you're not gonna tell me anything. You know, I'll go to your parties, and Christina will show me a nice dish and things to eat, and she's like, oh, "You're eating really healthy, aren't you?" And I go, "Yep." And she's like, "Anything?" I'm like, "Nope. I'm doing this for 8 weeks. I'm killing it right now." Like, believe me, I want to. I want some French fries.
Yeah.
But
I admire that about you. You get very laser focused on things, and like you commit to the thing. Mm-hmm. The news is that way for me. I don't listen to the news. I do not. I'm very uninformed with even like major things. They get to me when they get to me, and I enjoy that. I wish I had that in other aspects, like some things like LinkedIn and some things like YouTube and Instagram and some of this stuff. I'm not on most of them very much. YouTube's the one that I'll get kind of hamster wheel a little bit on. Overall, like, yeah, I wish that could apply. I'm like, how do I get rid of email? That would be amazing.
Well, for the business idea, it's you use certain platforms to market your business and your events and the things you do, and that helps you grow your business. So you have to, quote unquote, because that's just the way people get information.
I need to hire someone that does it.
There you go.
Then
right.
I don't have to.
There you go.
Yeah, and then it's not you in charge of it. God, you were just talking about how you know the news is basically completely gone for you, and you wait for other people. And then in my mind, I've always been thinking about like, how the hell do I get rid of Instagram and not feel left out of things? Because that's the biggest part for me. And I'm thinking about like, what am I trying to not be left out of? And it's things like watching Stranger Things and seeing like reaction videos and seeing all the hype and seeing all the things. And that's something that we used to do only in person. Yeah. And if we could just go back to that, then I wouldn't need to be online.
Well, that's what I was going to say is are your friends watching Stranger Things?
Yeah, it's almost like instead of all of us being siloed and watching these things at home, the way that we used to watch anything, I mean, maybe not TV shows, but it was we were all at a movie theater together and we would experience it together and all the reaction was happening at the same time, right? And it was this moment in time. I can think back, this is silly that this is the example that came to my mind, but it was...
Ready.
It was the...
I'm so ready.
It was the last movie of Twilight. They... like kind of messed with everybody because they showed a part in the movie that never happened in the book and made it seem like they like changed the ending and it was this big thing and people were being killed and everyone was freaking the fuck out in the movie theater because they were like, what the fuck are they doing? Killing all these like main characters. And then it all was just a flash forward of what would happen if this next thing happened.
It's funny. I didn't watch any of the Twilight movies.
Oh, really?
And then I got a girlfriend, of course.
Yeah.
And I saw only that one in theaters.
Only that one.
And so I know exactly what you're talking about, but I didn't get shocked because I had no idea what
you didn't know.
expect. I didn't read the books.
But yeah, but that was a moment this whole audience just experienced together and like freaking out, which I'm not going to give away spoilers, even though this is coming out after even the last episode of Stranger Things, but there was this really incredible moment in the most recent release of them that I was like, oh my god. And not that it wasn't...
Do you watch Stranger Things at all?
I am so bad at TV. And when
it's okay. I don't know that it's a positive thing to be good at TV.
But to her point, because I was going to say this, good that I'm not watching TV all the time, but there is the connection. And I like to be able to talk about shows with people. Yeah. So what I did is essentially every Monday night, you can't schedule me for anything because I go to my friend's house, me, him, and another person. We watch TV. That's what I do every Monday night. I go to someone's house, we pick a show, and we watch it. Mm-hmm. You know, and every Monday we'll watch whatever the next episodes are or whatever, and then I'm talking about the show with my people. And then maybe I know some people that have watched the show or I get a recommendation. So there's that aspect of it. But outside of that, if I start a show by myself, I can tell you, if you bring up a show, I'll be like, oh, I like that show. Well, the first 2 episodes because I got distracted. I got distracted. Or like I watched them on a day where I had things to do or I didn't have anything to do. And then I lived my life for the next week. And then I'm like, oh, I got to get back to that. And then the next show comes out. So everyone's watching the show. So I was like, oh, let me give it a shot.
You just got
all these
2
shows
episodes. You've seen a couple episodes
man,
and loved
they're all good. they're all good.
They're all
That's so interesting to me that the commitment thing, everything that we talked about earlier for you, someone that like really gets laser focused on like the TV thing, like it just doesn't.
I don't like to sit around.
Is that
I'm
okay?
like addicted to my step counter.
Are you?
I mean, I got my dog.
You're one of those people.
I walk. I don't know. I like to go to bed early too. I'm in this new like routine where I joke that 8 o'clock business is closed. Not my actual business, but like my life, my personal life. You call me after 8 o'clock, I'm not coming out. You know, you guys say, hey, we're going to this event and one of our friends dropped out. Maybe for you guys. Actually, that's all right. So there's certain people I would have exceptions to. But like,
you think about it.
For the most part, it's like 8 o'clock. Anytime I can be asleep. If I feel like being asleep at 8:15, lights out, I'm going to bed. If I'm awake, then maybe I throw something on. Maybe I'm reading something.
Yeah.
Maybe I take my dog on a walk for one last time. So that's another thing, is I'm not staying up. Because, in my mind, I'm not doing anything productive really after 8 o'clock anyway. And I like to get the gym done and walk the dog in the morning.
Yeah.
And you want a hot take? You want a hot take?
Yes.
Paris Delgado. I personally, this is a personal thing, is I like sunrises better than sunsets.
Is that a hot take?
I think it's a hot take. People fight me. People fight me.
I prefer sunsets, and there are some pretty spectacular sunrises.
I've seen incredible sunrises in San Diego. Like
sunrises in San Diego are amazing.
And in Chicago, same, because the sunrise is coming up over the water. So I actually preferred the sunrises there because that was a view over the water.
Yeah, I got a picture. I got a picture of that in my head.
Yeah, the sunsets there weren't really, like I couldn't really see the sunset. There was buildings in the way.
Every time I tell somebody that, they think I'm crazy. So I'm glad that you guys are kind of neutral about it at least.
I think you can like one or the other.
So if I can get to bed early and wake up and hit the gym, walk the dog, potentially see the sunrise, that's so peaceful to me. That's the greatest way to start the day. But yeah, after 8 o'clock, I'm not really doing anything productive, including if I was watching TV. If I'm watching a show and I can't wait to see the next episode. Because those shows exist. It's not like I watch a show and every show's like, yeah, it's cool. No, there's shows I'm like, I can't wait till the next one comes out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, sure, I'm watching it.
Fuck up a Tuesday and be up till 2 a.m.
No, I'm staying up to date with it. So, I'll start it at 8:01 and I'm still in bed by 9.
That's funny. I really appreciate that it's every Monday you have this routine with your friends, and because that's exactly what I was talking about, is just the fact that it used to happen more, that we had communities around things like this, and now there's just so much of just reaction videos online, and because of streaming now, we just have it all in our homes,
right,
instead of being able to we'd have to go out to the movies to go see something that's happening, right? And now the theaters are dying, and right, it's changed. I think there's some people who have been bringing that back. I mean, to bring up Taylor again, I've appreciated how much she's been on this episode.
You started it. You came in, you're like, I'm talking about Taylor today.
It's easy.
Robert's here. I know he likes Taylor Swift too. We can do this.
But even having these moments of releasing live concerts and all these people that get so hyped to go and watch it in the movie theater, right? The release of stuff like that. And that's how I feel about the season finale of Stranger Things. I'm like, oh, this is going to be so fun, because all the people who are going to be in that theater are huge fans of this show and are so excited to watch this. It's the release night of the series finale. That to me that's an experience. I want to experience that with a room full of people where we're all gasping and cheering and all of it. I'm excited for that.
To go all the way back and answer your question, I finished the end of season 2 when season 2 was out.
Of Stranger Things.
So I did make it through 2 full seasons. And then lost track. I think I didn't have Netflix for a long time. And to your point, I wasn't watching it with people.
Yeah.
So I just didn't keep up. And
good to pick up on a Monday, probably.
Actually, one of the guys said, hey, what do you think of the last season of Stranger Things? And I said, well, I guess I can watch some YouTube recaps. I do that a lot, too. If someone's like, hey, the 3rd season or whatever, and I'm like, I haven't seen the first 2, but I'll just watch some recaps, jump in.
Yeah.
I'm really good at that. Jumping into a show mid-season or the start of a season late and I haven't seen the others, I catch what's going on pretty quick.
Yeah. Connect the dots.
Yeah.
I think part of, even to kind of bring this back to the simplicity of I go to work, I have a desk. What's on my desk is what I work on. the world's moving too fast. Our brains aren't able to keep up with it. You mentioned just the TV shows. I'm like, I'm too far behind. We rewatched Stranger Things to get caught up to this season. That was like 30 hours of content.
That's a place that I had to learn to get to. Was I'm done keeping up with things.
Yeah.
To the extent that it's practical, right? I got to keep up with technology.
Well, that's the same as fuck 'em.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it all
exactly.
It circles
I like
all
what I
around
like.
that.
I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Why?
Good for you.
Why do I need to keep up? To a degree, again, it's like, fuck 'em. But you want to relate to your peers. You want to relate to new people you're meeting. You want to have something to talk about with family and friends. So to an extent, you've got to be in the know about some of this stuff. But if you want to be in the know on that topic, you can have a conversation. Like, you might have a friend that knows a whole ton about cars.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I don't really know anything about cars. And then so you're in a group of friends and they're all talking about cars, and you're like, I can accept that. That's their thing. They're talking about cars, whatever. I'll listen in, I'll chime in whenever, or I'll do whatever else. It's just, what things do you want to, again, what makes you feel good? If watching all the shows and staying up to date with the shows makes you feel good, and it's not because you're trying to keep up with everyone else and make sure they saw it and they're all talking about it and I feel away because I haven't seen it, hopefully it's not that, right?
Well, I think to your point, I've seen enough to kind of be like, well, no, I really like these things.
Yeah.
Like, these are the things that I can hang my hat on and go, at some point, we'll be able to connect on something that I really like.
Right.
Right. And then the flip side of that is like, yeah, like, what's the why behind actually wanting or needing to, like, I do it with sports. Sports is the one thing where I'm like, I kind of like to know what I'm fucking talking about. I'll go and do research and, okay, how are the Chiefs doing? And part of it is like with you, right? It's like,
Sure. I mean, but I almost feel like more about, you'll watch a bunch of interviews and you'll know kind of some of the things that are going on. But when it comes to actually watching games, it's not as big of a...
I probably watch more interviews at this point. I'm more interested in like the reading between the lines of what's happening. You go, okay, the Chiefs, you just lost a terrible season. Mahomes is out. Now what?
Oh, no.
Like, that's more interesting to me than like, did you win the game or not?
Yeah, you want to know the storyline. So that's a lot of... I used to follow sports a lot more closely when I was younger.
Well, it's not even the storylines. Like, it's drama. Sports is just the Bachelor and the Bachelorette for guys.
Exactly.
When I watch sports,
it's all drama.
Nowadays, I want to know enough about the... let's call them characters, right?
Yeah.
I want to know enough about the characters, and then that will be the decision maker on who I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Am I rooting for an underdog? Am I rooting for the guy that has this story or whatever story? I want to know those details too, because otherwise I'm just watching the red colors and blue colors run around and hit each other.
Well, it's anything, though. The more I know about anything, the more I'm going to have, I'm either going to be more interested or just I care less. Like, think of any band that you're a fan of.
Yeah.
There's certain ones where, like, it doesn't matter what they put out. I'm going to go listen. I'm going to go give it a shot because I know all this stuff about the band and who's in it, how long they've been part of it, and all of these details that you're invested. Mm-hmm. Right? Versus there's two colored teams trying to kill each other on a screen right now. I can't even see their faces. And that's how some people watch sports, and I get it. And I think there's a natural, like, oh, Pat, how many times have you ever said, have you seen that movie? And you say yes.
I have not said yes if I haven't seen the movie, but I will put the caveat of, yes, I saw it, but in like 1997. So it's vague. Yeah. So I'll admit to that. And actually, that was because that's something that people aren't comfortable with.
People will lie. People will lie
have
to feel included.
Yep. You have to learn.
I've done it. I'm guilty of it.
You have to accept it and own it. It's just ownership.
I love catching people in it, though.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because I think where I've experienced it more recently is definitely in the business world of like, oh yeah, this book or this, this person, and I'm just like, yeah, totally. And it's someone that in the business world is really well known, but I'm like, maybe.
Most of the time, someone says that because they want to tell you more about it, and so if that helps you, if that's a little grease, sure. Like
yeah.
No, and it is reading that from that person. It's like, oh yeah,
you're really excited. You're really excited right now.
It's like, oh, I think so. Okay, I don't know. Tell me.
Yeah.
But why lie about it still, though? Why? Just because...
But that's an interesting self-reflective, personal development,
100%.
growth thing that I've caught myself like, why the fuck did I just do that?
Yeah, why did I do that?
In the moment,
the funny,
and you're panicking. You're like, I hope they don't ask me
the
this.
funny
Sometimes
thing is,
I've
there
had
have been
that.
times where I have heard him say something where I'm just, no, you fucking haven't. Like, what do you mean? We have had the conversation and you haven't, and it's fun.
You know, I can remember, I don't have a specific memory, but I can remember doing that younger. I said it maybe a little bit earlier on talking about emotions, but same thing. It's like, I don't like feeling awkward. I like to say I'm naturally introverted, and I think I am. I lean more in the introverted column. Anytime I've taken the Myers-Briggs thing, I'm over the line one way or the other on extrovert, introvert, you know, but I think the reality is, you know, my recharge, it needs to be alone time.
Do you get energy from when you're around people? Do you give energy or do you take energy?
I get a ton of energy around the people I love being around.
Yeah, I would say it's actually that part of, like, if you're around people you don't know, does that give you energy or does it take energy?
Yeah.
Because that would define
extrovert. I had
to develop. Is that how you would define it?
It's a general.
It doesn't. I think it's a really, so, like, because there's comfort. If I take the comfort away, what's the natural reaction? We've talked about this before, where it's like, well, it's actually dependent on every single situation. But I think the easier kind of like just face value version of it is, like, if I'm around people, some I know, some I don't, what happens? But if it's especially around people I don't know, I think I'll
give you a good example. Like I said, I felt a little burnt out at the beginning of November, and I had to simplify everything in my daily life to be able to recharge, and that included, like, a lot of isolation time. I did not have the energy to really go out and socialize to whatever extent. If I had to go to events or things with a lot of people I didn't know, like, I didn't have the capacity for that. I wasn't ready for that. I had to do my things. But I am recharged by people I enjoy being around. When we went to that concert, even that day, I was daytime. I was feeling pretty, like, zapped. And I was like, man, you know, I agreed to go to this concert tonight. It'll be fun. You know, just slap your face a little bit. Let's go. It'll be fun. Like, just go. The second I got there and saw you two, I was fully energized. And we had a great time. Yeah. But that was because I know and trust, and I have a lot of comfort with you two. Right? And I think that's why I'm on that line, because sometimes when I answer it, I'm thinking of being around people, my friends. When it's like, would you rather do this or this? And you're like, well, if it's...
Who's they?
If it's them, then of course. But if it's not, it's like, oh, okay, I'd rather be reading a book. Right. I guess it's that general rule of thumb is what we're looking at.
It depends. So I'm very much would describe myself as an extrovert, and there are times where I'm a screaming introvert, and I need to, right? It depends.
Going back to what I was saying, related to it all, is I'm more introverted generally in these big social settings where I don't know people. But I don't like feeling awkward. And I don't know where that idea came from, whatever we were talking about before. But, you know, I don't like feeling awkward. So, like, I have to turn it on in that moment before. Like, I'll walk into the room and it's, hey, how's it going? I'm Robert. Let's talk and do things. And it's almost like getting into, like, that method actor space. You know, like, hey, I'm walking in, I'm confident I'm doing this. I'm not going to be the person standing there like, what do I do with my hands, you know? And if I do get in a situation where I'm not talking to anybody, where's the food? I'll go to the food. Confidently go to the food bar. That guy knows what he's doing. He's over looking at me. He's grabbing his food. He doesn't look awkward at all. You know, go grab the water. You know, and then you bump into people. You meet new people. It's just, I had to develop strategies to get over a lot of that introvertedness. I was way more introverted though.
Sure, doesn't surprise me.
All through school, which actually I think helped a lot, because my goal, I just put my head down and got work done.
Sure.
You know, I didn't have a lot of distractions, but I also had a goal. It's one of those things we talked about. I had a mission. I'm going to achieve this. Watch me. To myself. I'm not really, again, not bragging about it to people, but in my head it's like, I can do that. I can get that GPA. My first semester of college, I had a good GPA. But in my head, I was like, I could have done better. I know where I slacked off. I know where I didn't do the full assignment or whatever. And I was like, I can do way better than that. So I was like, I'm graduating with this GPA. I just made it a goal.
You did?
Yeah, I graduated with the GPA I wanted.
Exactly.
Well, what do you mean by how many decimal points?
Are we rounding?
How many tenths do I get?
Because it wasn't exact, because there's some tenths or hundredths places there, you know?
Sure.
It's my lawyer answer.
Yeah.
Exact would have been, 0.0000, you know?
Yeah. but you got
But you got it.
The reason I asked that more is just, did you write it down and it became exact? Like you manifested the thing, right? And it sounds like a version of that, but not the
I didn't write it down, but I said it to myself. I'm graduating with this GPA.
Yeah, it's done. You decided.
Did it?
Well, we started with music as a check-in.
As a reinforcement for this conversation, what's the song that you would attach to?
Oh, like to this and
How's it ending?
Okay.
Are we talking about
what's like
feel?
What's the outro music?
Yeah, what's the outro music for this conversation? Mine is you're wearing this. It's a little Danny California.
I would never choose that. I would never choose it because what was
Paris will turn it off immediately.
You just can't do it. Yeah, it'd probably be Raheem. It'd be a song by Raheem. No, you know what? For some reason, the first thing I just went the first thought. You know, like think of a word.
Yeah.
When you said that, the first thing that came to mind is the song Superman, with the punk rock song with like the trumpets and stuff.
Then would you still call me?
Nope, that's Three Doors Down. That's Three Doors.
Which one are you talking about?
I'm thinking, man, they just did a remix with Tony Hawk too. It was on this Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 soundtrack.
Oh.
Come on, man. Everyone listening to this podcast, the potential millions of people.
Hell yeah.
They know exactly what song I'm talking about. Goldfinger, Superman. Can I click it?
Yeah.
Is that like a copyright thing?
Less than 30 seconds.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Tony
Hawk.
Yeah.
Like those vibes.
Tony Hawk. Immediately.
Yeah, now, see, you know.
Tony Hawk.
But you see that like.
Yeah.
It's got that positive bounce, and I believe they have like trumpets and stuff. That's the
outro. I like it.
That's the energy I got. You know, it's like how I feel right now. Like,
that's so Tony Hawk.
That's amazing.
That's so good.
See,
it took me back, and I didn't even really play that game. I'm really bad at thinking of songs on the spot. That's just a hard thing for me to do.
What are you hearing in your head? What's the Taylor song that's playing?
What's the first song that comes to mind? Now say it. What was it? You have it.
I was the only reason why I said it is because you said Taylor, so I was like, Life of a Showgirl. But like that's just so recency bias, and it's because you said Taylor right before he asked the question.
I would imagine that it would be Taylor. We talked about her quite a bit.
I know we did talk about her a lot. If I chose a song,
you two did.
Well,
kept my mouth shut on this one.
Well, okay, but it wouldn't be Life of a Showgirl. Maybe Actually Romantic, because I just really like that song on that album, even though it has nothing to do with what we talked about on this episode.
That's just how you're feeling?
It's just a great song.
Fair enough. That was Actually Romantic.
It was Actually Romantic. Did you already say yours?
I did. Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, yeah, you did. You did say that.
He hummed it. He didn't really say it.
Okay, I feel like you and I both kind of cop out on that one, but you came up with something like legit that wasn't in the room.
Yeah, no, I like the...
And it's a really...
And that was an example. I'm so bad with names, actors, movies. I can't think of the name or title of things, but I know how to get to it.
Sure.
And I knew the song name. I didn't know that. I didn't remember the band name.
Yeah.
But I'll find it. And then you know how I did it? I went on Spotify and searched Tony Hawk Skater, and I found me a playlist.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I could have used you. There's one song that I heard on a playlist while I was working at a bar one time. I didn't know the words. I didn't know anything. I didn't know who it was by. I really liked this song. Yeah. And I spent probably 3 to 4 hours Googling like da-da-da-da. And like
you didn't
trying
know
to
the lyrics though.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, there's got to be a way to like search the melody if I hum the melody kind of thing.
I thought I saw a commercial for that. I've tried it and it hasn't done me well.
I've done it into Google at this point. It's gotten better.
This was before the pandemic.
I like the Genius app for lyrics. So anytime I have a lyric in my head and I can't place it, I'll type it in and they do lyric matches.
I spent 4 hours trying to find the song. I did not find it. And then the next time I went into the bar, luckily the playlist was playing. And
what was it?
Midnights by M83. It's a good song. I'll play it for you when we turn this off.
All right. Outro.
I think it's Midnights or something. Midnight or something like that.
Oh, well, do we have to do that too? Midnights?
Oh, no, I don't know. We're good.
Okay.
I'll play it.
Okay, so for the deep dive with Robert, I do want to start with I'm so just my brain goes blank when people ask me for something specific, like a favorite song or something that comes to mind. And so when we were doing the reinforcement and we were like, what's the outro song? And I picked Actually Romantic, and I'm like, because it was more just kind of what was on my mind. But I thought about it, and I thought of like how it can tie into the episode so it's not so random. Because of this, like, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about me type of mentality, right? And it's like, I'm gonna like what I like, and who cares? It kind of ties into the song a little bit, right? Like, just when there's haters out there who's like, ugh, you like Taylor Swift, like, why would you like, and they're mad about it for whatever reason they're mad about it. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet that you care so much about what I like. Why are you so bothered? I try to tie it in to the episode to make it make sense. It still doesn't really, but here we are.
Why did you feel like you needed to tie the bow on that?
Because it was so random. It wasn't like I felt like
we were talking about there was a good chunk of that conversation where we were talking about Taylor Swift.
But I could have. But there's so many better Taylor Swift songs that I could have picked that would have been a good outro song. If I had a moment to think about it and I could see kind of more of the.
You did have a moment to think about it.
No. I would need a moment, and I would need to look through my Spotify and then go, this one. This is what I would want. Because my brain doesn't think that way. I can't think about, it would take me a while to even be able to sit here and name like, oh, these are the songs on this album. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that was, probably not a super great reinforcement and checking question to use.
It wasn't, as far as what I guess, like, more of the purpose of the check-in and reinforcement, but it fit with Robert, right? It just fit of the conversations and the fact that we talk about music so much, we experience music together. It fit.
Sure. Yeah. We've done it with a couple of times now.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to try and I forgot to look this up before we were in here. You sent this to me. Maybe I can find it quickly.
And if I were to ask you what will come out, you would probably say juice. And if I said, well, no matter how hard I squeeze it, do you think you'll ever get pineapple juice out of this? You think you'll get cranberry juice? Do you think you'll get apple juice? You would say, no, of course not. You would get orange juice. And if I were to further ask you why, when I squeeze this orange, does orange juice come out? You'd say, well, it's an orange. And that's what's inside. And that's the answer. That's the truth. When you squeeze an orange, you get out of it what's inside. And then if we extend that metaphor to yourself, and someone squeezes you, that has put pressure on you, that it says something about you that you find offensive, whatever it might be, someone squeezes you. And out of you comes anger. And out of you comes hatred. And out of you comes judgment, criticism, condemnation, fear. Out of you comes all kinds of stuff because you've been squeezed and you don't want to be squeezed. And you believe in your heart, somehow you believe that it was the person who squeezed me that caused this to come out of me. But the truth of it is, just like the orange, when someone squeezes you and out of you comes anything, it's because that's what's inside.
Yeah, so that's Wayne Dyer is who said that.
Robert said something along those lines. I remember him talking about creativity, and it was a really interesting lens to think about being creative. And part of the creativity is like I have to think of a different way, right? It's different than just the easy one and the non-creative. Like what would be the opposite of creative? Standard way is just whatever the reaction is.
Right.
It's the easy.
That might be something to talk about too, is the fact that I think this conversation has come up so much in this capacity on these episodes. And
what is this?
This being curious and instead of being judgmental. Sure. And there's a difference between what my immediate feeling could be just internal, like my body reacts to things. internally, right? Somebody says something that I find offensive. Maybe my body gets hot. Maybe my hands start to sweat. Maybe maybe I get butterflies in my stomach. Whatever. There's things that my body will do that will tell my brain that I'm feeling something, and that's usually going to go to the negative if what I'm perceiving from that other person is negative. And so then it's in that next moment, that's where we can get creative. Like, that's where...
Well, I don't know that that's 100%. I don't know that I agree with that 100%. So part of what I learned this a long time ago, but so basically there's a triangle with thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, which would be the bodily reactions, but they're all connected. And so for some people, I don't actually feel the feelings. I think there's a lot of science around women being more intuitive, so they'll feel the body part first. Mm-hmm. Some people feel the emotions, they feel the anger, and the anger then so the anger shows up, and then I feel it in my body. Sometimes it's a thought, so it could be something happens, and then there's a thought, a feeling, or a reaction, a bodily sensation, and then that gets labeled by our brains, and that's uncontrollable. That whatever order that happens in is uncontrollable.
So I'm a feeler, so I was speaking from feeling, but of course, yes, my point was there's going to be this initial thing that happens, whether that is the thought or the feeling or the behavior, the body behavior. And then the next part is the thing that we talk a lot about, right? And I think what I'm just trying to say now is that we need to acknowledge the fact that there is this kind of internal thing that's going to happen first, and then I get to make a choice.
Well, I think part of it is, so yes, all I was adding is it's not always a bodily reaction. There's people interpret it other ways, because I think you're more of a feeler, I'm more of a thinker. And the other part is turning before I react, it's actually turning the mirror on me. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, I just felt this, or I thought this, or this, I'm experiencing this. That's interesting. And taking a beat, and then there's actually a chain of it. So if I can do that, then cool. Now I'm in the moment, and I can be curious about what's going on inside of me. Mm-hmm. That's easy to get missed, because sometimes the reactions are really strong, and all of a sudden, I say something because you offended me or whatever it is. And then I can actually, so to your point, I can try to catch myself. The volcano exploded a little bit, and then now there's lava leaking, and I can stop it. Mm-hmm. And I can try to go back and okay, why did that happen? And what was happening inside of me? There's actually a path back to that. But I think to what you were getting at before is the opportunity for more of us to be more curious, and to not just accept the reaction as this is how I feel, and this is end all be all. Yeah. Right? That's kind of where you were.
Yeah, which is, again, something that we've talked about a lot on here, which is why I appreciated you bringing up the video that you shared about the orange, because that's a different angle that you shared with me, and I feel like was something that it's just a different way to talk about kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I like the analogy a lot of the orange, and I like the idea of when someone squeezes you, and I guess I don't know if you have anything, because I don't actually have anything in the moment, but was there a time where you got squeezed where you didn't like what came out?
Oh God, yeah. I mean,
recently.
Man, I can't. Can I think of something immediate? No.
Or the opposite. There was a time you got squeezed and you were like, I like how this is. I like this squeeze.
What's a positive lens on that? Yeah.
That one's actually easier for me, because that was me when I flew back to Chicago and I got stuck in the Denver airport for 9 hours.
Okay.
And obviously for a lot of people, it was literally the Saturday after Christmas. Thanksgiving. Thank you. After Thanksgiving, everyone had, families and all the stories about where they got to go and what they're trying to get to. And I was just like, I'm here for as long as I'm going to be here. And I just enjoyed it. I got some food. I had a couple drinks and tried to smile. And
yeah. Just lived in it.
Yeah. I was like this. I was very much in, I remember getting texts. I was like, hey, are you, because it was snowing. Part of it was weather. It was weather related. So it's like, literally this is out of anyone's control.
Right.
O'Hare wasn't accepting planes. So for me, it was just, I got some text like, hey, are you still going to make it? And I was like, I'm supposed to be there. So I'll be there. And I just trusted that. Yeah. So yeah, that was a positive squeeze.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, perspective, right? I can be mad about it. I can be angry in a airport where anyone else who's experiencing delays, like everyone's heightened emotions and angry, or I could be like Eric and I could say, okay,
I'm good. I'm a good person to travel with. Most of the time.
Yes, you are a good travel buddy. You keep your cool and
I don't.
You look at the positive and
I don't know why so many other things in life stress me out. Travel, it's like, nope, it's not in my hands. Yeah. It's going to work out the way it's supposed to. Yeah. Make the most of it.
I wish I had more of that. I'm definitely more of a planner. I like to have the trip planned out. We're going to go here. Not like minute by minute or hour by hour, but just maybe more of like a couple days here and make sure we hit this place. And I don't know. Maybe that's why it's a good mix.
Yeah, I mean, I like that too, but it's more of like the coming and going and the actual logistic part.
Well, you say that, and yet you were entirely stressed getting on the Amtrak to LA.
I don't like things that I've learned that trying to figure things out where there's a clock and doing it for the first time and not knowing. Mm-hmm. Like, this train leaves at this time, and we have to go. I've never done it before. I've never done it before, and we have to download an app or buy tickets or be on the right track, or when there's a clock, and if I miss it, then it's like it doesn't come for 2 hours. There's a squeeze.
There's a squeeze.
There's a squeeze there that
I wonder what could be put in place to not let that happen.
Sounds like you have an answer.
Maybe like allowing some extra time to figure out the thing.
Sure.
Getting there a little early.
Yeah, that would be smart.
That's part of my squeeze is I get squeezed a lot when there's a tardiness. And
I'm very rarely tardy.
I'm telling you when I get squeezed, and
I'm telling you I'm very rarely tardy.
I'm not talking about you. I'm saying when I get squeezed. I didn't even say your name. I didn't even say you.
Yeah, but it was inferred. You looked at me.
There's only you and me in here. What else am I supposed to look at?
The clock?
There isn't even a clock in here. But that's definitely a squeeze for me. And I'm saying that as even from my own self. Like, there's times where I am not on my own timeline that I have set for myself.
So I mean, that's actually an interesting thing. So there's the world squeezes, and then there's when do we squeeze ourselves? Yeah. And there's probably a really fun drama triangle.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Because then it's like there's this layer of frustration that like I did this to myself. Mm-hmm. It's my own fault that I'm being squeezed by myself.
And then how does that serve you?
Yeah.
How does that serve me? Because I mean I do it in the mornings, right? We have a call and it's in 30 minutes, and I'll wait until the last minute to wake up and go outside and do all the things to be on time. Again, mm-hmm. Very rarely tardy, but like minutes to spare if I know I can do it. Yeah. And I hate it. So why the fuck do I do that?
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. I'm trying to be curious about it.
I'll be trying to be curious. Well, there you go.
I'm trying. I ask the question a lot.
Things to work on for 2026. Here we go.
Here we go. Put her there, bud.
Put her there, bub.